I'm just happy we get blind pick, and here we go. What's it going to be?
Kalista from KOO.
Kalista Kennen, man. You got to see the Kalista Kennen bot lane from Najin.
I mean, the Kalista's the one thing we expect to come in.
We're wondering about the Riven.
There's probably going to be at least one Riven. I mean, I could see Duke going to the Shen instead, but...
Yeah, you wouldn't pick the Xin Zhao. I'd imagine Elise is going to be the choice from Watch here. I don't think we're going to see the Malphite. But the Shen, I'd really like to see the Shen from Duke. I don't think you want to throw Soraka in there with Fate's Call. I don't think that does a whole lot.
This is all about creating identity with your picks. This is theoretically the champion picks that gave you the strongest scrim results. These are the picks that you've been winning the most with. You can go super creative or you can go super standard. The trend is usually towards the most reliable picks, basically the strongest meta picks, because you don't want to take a big risk and then lose in what is an elimination match just before the playoffs even start. But
yeah.
I feel like even with 30 seconds down, we have no idea what Najin's really considering.
I agree, too. I mean, we're going to see a lot of swaps. Obviously, Goong was very, very good on the LeBlanc in the past, but the Azir is a much safer choice. LeBlanc just isn't that great, as some games in China showed us today. And I think Goong's Azir is the perfect safe pick to go for here. Now, Ashe Leona would be very interesting. I think we're going to see that swapped over. Oh, is that it?
Oh, baby.
Wow, what a comp from the KOO Tigers. And Ashe Leona from Najin, this has gone very differently than what we expected. No Kalista on either side. WTF to Ashe.
There's a Ashe mirror match after seeing no Ashe the whole season. It's incredible.
I guess so. We've reached that point in time where you get the Ashe mirror. Well, Papa Smithy, what do you say? We're going into the game, and this is it. The season on the line for both of these teams. And Najin, I mean, they are going to have quite the gauntlet to climb to get into Worlds if they lose here.
And KOO Tigers, man, do they have ways to enable that Yasuo ultimate.
Yes, they
Malphite
do.
Gragas, you can't ask for much more than that.
Oh, I love it. Well, here we go, guys. Game number 3, blind pick between the KOO Tigers and Najin Empire. Who moves on to the playoffs? Let's get in the game and find out. Welcome for the last time today to Summoner's Rift, the KOO Tigers fans and the Najin fans ready to go. And you look at that Yasuo pick in the mid lane there, and you remember how Najin banded out both games. They were really worried about this, but being that they banned it so aggressively, you'd think they would expect it. So what's the plan going to be? This Leona, an interesting pick for Pure. So much lockdown.
Yeah, we're definitely expecting Najin to play around this mid lane matchup, because you can just look at those champion picks and know that if KOO get Kuro ahead, this game is going to be such an uphill battle for them to fight, because there's so many different ways to knock up through the likes of Braum, Gragas, and Malphite, that this immobile Ashe, OQ will have to be so on point with his flashes, because every time that spell is down, they basically can't team fight.
Yeah, you know, the big question I have again is with this Malphite. Yeah, of course it is good against the Ashe. Would have been good against the Kalista as well, but it should be predictable. Now, Najin appeared to have problems with that in the last game, but still, it's something that should be something that they can adapt to, you know? You'd hope so anyway.
But the thing is, it's not just Malphite that's the third on to Ashe. There's so many different specials. You've got the ranged
Gragas.
ultimate with the Gragas ultimate, of course,
Braum
the body slam as well. Braum ultimate, like we mentioned.
Yeah.
This is Ashe's nightmare. It's not quite Olaf, but it's right up there.
I don't know what to say, man. And the Shen pick, I like Shen. Obviously, Duke's a great Shen player right now, but who do you really send him on in this particular comp? You know, do you throw him with the Leona and she goes in with the Zenith Blade, I suppose? I feel like a Kalista Kennen would have been such a much better enabler for big taunts from Shen.
When you look down the lineup that you're facing, of course, you opt into this lineup, which does a bit of peel. It can engage. Like, it does a lot of things decently, but it has no real identity. It's not really an engaged comp. It's not really a disengaged comp. You look at your enemy and you're like, okay, we need to be using all these ultimates to kite backwards. They need to be picking up objectives and then kiting away, because in the team fights, you know, with the likes of the Yasuo or Gragas, they're going to be super hard to do. And unless Pure can really get on top of Bray, you know, it was all about OQ free hitting on Ashe in game 1, and it could be Bray this time around.
Now, we had a blue steal from KOO Tigers. Najin should be aware of that, but can they get in and take the blue buff from KOO, though? I don't know.
Have to wait and see.
We'll see if they can or not. They sent Shen down to the bottom lane.
Wow, Goong's been really chunked out
Yeah, he has.
in this lane. This is usually a laning matchup that Azir will do very well in, because of course Yasuo has to opt into melee range and just take at least a couple of Sand Soldier
Like that.
orders. Now, you can be very tricky, of course. You're usually maxing the E in this lane, so you can usually just take the one hit and then just find a minion to move away from. But in general, we expect KOO's health bar to be relatively low most of the laning phase.
Yep. And Najin does respond with that blue steal, so the team's trading blue buffs early on in the game here.
This is actually a big win for Najin. You look at the lane matchup we've ended up on. It's Ashe laning against a Malphite that has a null magic mantle.
Oh boy, yeah, you're right. Wow. Smeb definitely not accounting for the lane swap here.
That's a really reckless buy to spend 500 gold on the null magic mantle.
You know, do you turn this into like quick Merc treads, I suppose, or what do you think the plan is here?
Merc treads.
Hex drinker?
I mean, maybe some sort of mana regen item. It's just very strange to go for that, just because you always have to think that there's this chance of a lane swap. So
It is a bit odd.
with the information, it's just a super risky buy.
Yeah, and look at how much OQ can just poke Smeb here. And of course, Malphite's got a lot of armor. He's got a lot of tankiness, but in a 1v1, he's not going to do terribly great against an Ashe early on.
And just a Doran shield, remember, Shen doesn't have a very high base damage on his Q. Okay, it's resourceless, but when you're taking 8 flat damage from spells and auto attacks, Doran shield's such a more flexible item choice. Went the super greedy option of the null magic mantle, and that's why it's smart of Najin to rotate OQ into this lane.
Yep, very true. Very true. We'll see which Ashe is superior.
I can't believe you just said that sentence.
We'll see which of these teams has the best Ashe.
This is not how it's supposed to be in blind pick, though.
Oh, Prey in a little bit of trouble. Big dive onto him, and that's an easy first blood, and it goes to Duke. Very important to get that kill on him. Snowballing this top laner versus top laner a little bit more already.
And the CC layering was so on point. Prey was able to heal, but not flash, because there was just certainly no time to even work in that spell. Najin, they can get the dragon control. That'll definitely justify the Elise pick. But when you let Pure roam on this Leona, the roaming gank squad has incredible CC between Elise and Leona.
Yeah. Meanwhile, OQ staying safe up in the top lane.
There's just nothing Smeb can do. He can try and trade a little bit, but
Smeb CSing okay. But yeah, but OQ's not dying, so that's a big advantage he's got.
Well, I mean, in this rotation, it's freed up Pure to make the play we just saw, and it's definitely not an ideal matchup for Smeb because of the starting item like we mentioned, so good job with Najin. They've definitely rotated their resources smartly in the early game.
Yeah, and you can tell they were planning something like this or hoping they could execute on something like this too, because we talked so much already about how Pure is not really a big roaming support, and he's not, but now that he's on Leona, look at this. He can roam up to the top lane, he can help Najin get another kill. Smeb flashes, looks like he'll be able to get out. Had to burn that summoner, but now Pure suddenly becomes this threat that didn't really exist before for Najin too, which is also something that KOO might have a little bit of a hard time adapting to.
Yeah, maybe that's the surprise.
Could be.
There's an average of 10% kill participation difference from Gorilla and Pure.
Yeah.
Pure's doing his best Gorilla impression this game, and it's completely thrown off the KOO early game.
Yeah, it really looks like that. But they've got to follow up. I mean, they've got about a 900 gold, 1,000 gold lead right now, which is a lot for right now, but it's still very early in the game.
And they haven't swapped back, so that's why they haven't really made any plays around Dragon. They have Duke 1v2ing and doing fine. You'd expect Shen to lose a lot in terms of turret damage here, just because, again, no sort of ranged wave clear before he's even able to go back and buy. But look at that, he actually has a full health turret, despite the fact that we've seen Leona roaming around the map and the lane swap in play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, OQ's just so safe up there compared to Prey that Pure can just, if he needs to be in a two-person lane, he'll just stick with Duke.
Had to blow that summoner and died earlier, and that's just meant that the pressure onto Duke in a 1v2 with no wave clear is almost non-existent.
Yeah.
And KOO doesn't feel confident enough to start forcing the dragon, so man, lane swap advantages upon lane swap advantages for Najin.
Meanwhile, Goong has been able to get a CS lead over Kuro. Obviously, Duke and OQ have their CS leads as well, too, so Najin's starting to pull ahead in every category again. And the thing about these blind pick games is because of the team comps you end up with, these games usually do tend to snowball very quickly. So KOO Tigers, it may not look like it, but historically they should feel like they're already in a very dangerous situation.
And look, Smeb, he stuck to his guns. He actually kept building for the eventual 1v1 matchup, knowing that Oki would have to swap back. So he's still building into the Abyssal Scepter, despite the fact that Ash was in the lane as recently as 20 seconds ago. But you know that there will have to be a swap back at some point, just because of the power of having 2 champions on the bottom side in terms of dragon control. So stuck to his guns and has the laning items now.
It's true. Yasuo tossing up his sword in the air and catching it before taking a swig out of whatever he's drinking. That's dangerous, but at least he's doing it in the right order.
Yasuo and Siva really like playing with those sharp blades.
I do. I would not recommend it. Don't let your kids see that, or they'll start throwing swords around. You know how video games influence young people these days.
That's true.
Yep. Gotta watch out for that.
OQ has the big advantage in the 1v1. In the Ash mirror match, obviously items are going to be the big determiner. That's BF sword against just the pickaxe and the Avarice blade. Obviously, similar amount of gold between those 2 sets of items, but with that item power advantage, you can see Bray hanging so far back in the lane, knowing that he just can't contest the 2v2 with Ashley on.
Right. Now we see how this 1v1's going to go, and seems like Duke should be in a pretty good spot with it.
It's tank
already
wars
got
still.
his cowl. Yeah.
It's the epitome of tank wars. No kill potential from either person.
What about the CSing potential?
Infinite.
Infinite CSing potential. If they stay in this game forever, they will get unlimited CS. It's true.
I guess Duke has had to itemize towards magic resist. It doesn't have the constituent parts of a Sunfire, so isn't able to counter push as well as he would like to.
Yeah, it looks like he's going for a quick Spirit Visage before anything else at this point.
I don't know about completing the Spirit Visage. I don't mind sitting on the Kindle Gem and the Spectre's Cowl, but
yeah,
I think it's time to build into the Sunfire now.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. You just need the Balmy Cinder at least for some sort of wave control, because if you're getting outpushed by a Malphite, it's pretty sad days. Wow, he's
definitely not, I guess. Man, Smeb taking a lot of damage in that trade. I didn't expect it to go that one-sided. Wonder what happened up there.
I mean, Smeb has to deal with mana. He's not a resourceless champion. He doesn't have Flask. He's gone purely for laning stats, so he just doesn't have the mana pool to trade with Shen.
Well, Hojin trying to look for a lane gank here of some kind. It doesn't look like he's going to get it. Watches nearby, but wouldn't be close enough to help anything.
Goong's been playing smart. He's been clearing waves and then going to pick up wolves and raptors. He knows that there is a target drawn on his back. It's obvious when it's Gragas Yasuo you're dealing with in the mid lane, so he's never in mid lane unless he has to be.
Well, Najim's done a good job of mitigating that too, because they put so much pressure on top and bottom that there's really hasn't been any time for KOO to really try to gank Goong in the mid lane. That's exactly what Goong wants. Goong is going full Kuro this game.
It's a good line of play from Najin, because this is a snowball comp. We're talking about melee champions with high burst damage. If they ever fall behind, or even theoretically are even in items in the late game, the burst potential's not there. That's just the reality of melee champions trying to do damage in the late game like Yasuo. If you get a snowball, you show up with Trinity Force, Infinity Edge, Static Shift, absolutely you can do massive damage. But if you just play passively around those timings, try and take the dragons, which are always going to be safer with your large amount of ranged champions, things should be fine for Najin. So they're very happy playing the patient game so far.
Yeah, Nashor's Tooth done for Goong. Oh, Prey coming up. They're going to try to make a play on to Duke. Nice arrow onto Duke. Is he going to live through it? Smeb taking a lot of turret damage. Duke is so tanky already. Smeb nearly died to the turret. Here comes Hojin to finish off the dive. A flash from Duke. They're going to get him eventually, but man, does it cost him. Arrow comes through. Gorilla not taking turret aggro at the moment, though, so the stun's not going to get any kills for OQ. They will get the dragon, and they may even get the mid lane turret out of this.
Why did KOO send 5 members to the top lane with dragon available and a Nashor's Tooth Azir?
Because they
hitting on the turret.
Because they must kill Duke no matter the cost.
Good job. You killed Duke. Smeb has to flash away as well. They're going to push onto a second turret. This is Ash free hitting with a BF sword.
Dude, they're going to lose 2 turrets and a dragon in exchange for losing Duke and the top lane turret. That was not a good trade for the KOO Tigers.
I mean, that's putting it lightly, Doa. That was just a bizarre play to commit all 5 members. 4, 3, sure, maybe, but all of them?
Well, look at now. You've got the AD carry and the mid laner roughly 30 CS ahead of their counterparts on the other side, and man, Duke, I mean, living forever here.
The call must have been clear, because you can look at the mini-map. Obviously he's eventually going to die, but everyone has been called to the top lane. Even Yasuo is rotating.
They use so much, and man, are they lucky that the Ash arrow hit Gorilla and not Prey there. Otherwise, OQ would have gotten a kill from across the map. Nice attempt, anyway.
Minion wave control and just being smart around objectives, setting up slow pushes. That's what KOO is known for. This game, a must-win for KOO. They're blindly diving 5 members top lane with all those objectives available. This is not the KOO Tigers we've come to expect.
You know, I gotta say, I think this is the KOO Tigers we've come to expect, because remember, when they get nervous, when the chips are on the table, the KOO Tigers, what do? They start to fall apart, and how do they fall apart? They over-prioritize ganking top lane. This is classic mental breakdown KOO Tigers play right here.
Shades of IEM Katowice.
Seriously, ever since that tournament, man, whenever they start to get stressed out, they over-prioritize ganking top lane. We've seen it for months, but frankly, I am surprised to see it here. It seemed like something that was starting to kind of be weeded out of their play, but again, you know, the KOO Tigers, we've seen them in high pressure situations, and there's seasons on the line in this game. It doesn't get any higher pressure than this, and making some questionable decisions. Najin really trying for this red buff now, though.
Remember, they took out the mid and bottom outer turret, so of course it makes sense to come and contest this red buff.
Yep.
They even get it.
Wow,
good job by KOO there to steal it with the Sand Soldier. This is what was afforded to Najin by just picking up the 2 outer turrets. Now suddenly, the safe resources to farm, like the red buff, like the Raptors, are going to be consistently contested because this was just granted to Najin and Fire.
Yeah. Najin seeming to have a much better answer to the Malphite this time, and really respecting that ultimate a lot more as well.
I mean, it hasn't been a factor. Remember, this was all, it wasn't a team fight that got Najin this advantage. It was purely a huge misrotation by KOO.
It was almost purely pure, you could say. Well, except for that amazing play by Duke. But purely pure sounded like it was a good thing to say at the time. So that's why I said it. Don't question me. Don't give me that look, Papa Smithy.
Take that, Hojin.
Hojin eats an arrow there. That was meant for the bot lane.
He was so close to still being in fountain healing range.
Yeah.
So sad.
Doesn't even need to go back. He's like, oh, that was chilly.
And suddenly, Goon, Nashor's Tooth into the Needle Silage Rod. Yeah. So much power already. Kuro obviously has to power up. The plan of playing around Kuro and this Yasuo hasn't happened, and now Kuro's going to have to spend so much time, because remember, it's 10,000 gold to achieve the current core 100% crit items, the likes of Trinity Force, Static Shiv, Infinity Edge. Looking a long way away 15 minutes into this game.
Yep. The gold lead still is small. The Dragon and Turtle lead does go to Najin. KOO Tigers trying to set up a bit of a trap here at the red buff onto Watch. Can they get him? Watch could be in a lot of trouble. There's no support for him. There's no wards, though, for KOO, so they can't see this happening. So that makes the trap very hard to spring, doesn't it? Wow. All right. Well, that just happened.
We thought we would see a dead watch.
Pops the ward. It's like, oh, man. Oh, I can just feel the sadness. Kuro's like, oh, I don't want to be here now.
The fact that we haven't seen a single last breath 15 minutes in when we're talking about Malphite, Gragas, Braum synergy.
Yeah, haven't even seen a first breath.
No. We saw a sign of first breath in the second game. We didn't think we'd see it from KOO, but they proved us wrong with an impressive performance there.
Well, Najin impressively got themselves Malphite ulted a couple times as well. OQ pushing up this top lane now. They've got the turret down in bot, so they can pressure this final outer turret. And Watch and Pure in a position to support him.
And Yasuo just can't go anywhere near Goon at this point just because of the item disparity. So just running them around the map as much as possible, just having the tank wars in bottom.
Near a 50 CS lead right now for Goon over Kuro. That is huge for 16 minutes into the game, man.
Both solo lanes, 50 CS and 35 CS respectively. And look at this damage.
Wow, Nashor's Tooth does a lot. Dropping those Sand Soldiers right on the turret as well, too.
And look, we know that Azir with free time does a lot of damage to turrets. It's just, think about the team he's against and the confidence that he can walk up to an inner turret at 16 minutes against this comp and feel no pressure whatsoever.
Yep. Well, 40 seconds now before the next dragon comes up. And do you think KOO can even fight this?
I mean, you can see the gank rush that's coming through here.
They can. Again, with a good Malphite ult, they can.
I don't know if they have the item timings though, Doa. Like this Yasuo went back and bought magic resists, so look, Yasuo does a lot of consistent damage if he stays alive, but
well, Goon's got to have a lot of money right now too, and he's not going back and spending it, so there is a lot of that gold lead that is not represented in items yet for Najin, I think.
Well, just think about the positions of power for Najin. It's around the mid and bot lane. Those are the advantages they got in that big turret trade 5 minutes ago. There's never been any safe time for KOO to put in defensive vision around the dragon, so The Dragon is the only spot Najin's going to look to fight around, and KOO's got no vision. They can't go anywhere near it.
And they are going to get that easy Dragon. It's true. Prey trying to push up the top lane, but Duke is right there.
When you have 4 melee champions and an immobile AD carry, vision has to be the priority, because the only way you can fight one.
They grab Kuro. Oh, the Wind Wall blocks the Zenith Blade. He wasn't quite quick enough on the draw there. Whoa! And Smeb just wants you on OQ. OQ. Can we say it? Yep, I think so.
Out of context, that was a very bizarre interaction with OQ dying under the turret. Maybe another face check of a brush from OQ, but okay, that happened. Just coming back to my point, 4 melee champions, as we're going to see.
Let's watch OQ's most embarrassing moment yet this season.
He's like, I'm going to kill Smeb. But look at the health bar. Remember, it's quite high, but
flash for it.
Ash does not have the base stats to deal with that. Dies during the knock-up duration.
You got the flash. Be happy with that OQ. OQ's never happy with just the flash. He wants to kill.
Look, I understand if this is Najin versus Spenu, no stakes whatsoever, but what is the point of looking for a greedy solo kill in a match that literally decides your fate in this tournament?
Seriously, and again, that's a move that we have not seen OQ do for a while now.
You know who's going to be comfortable after this series, Doa?
CJ?
CJ enters.
I agree.
Because both these teams have such demonstrable weaknesses, and they're just showing them and offering them on a tee to a CJ team that can just make adjustments and really punish both the mistakes of these teams.
We're really seeing the bad habits come back for both of these teams, aren't we?
Under pressure, that's often when, you know, the facades start to drop and the bad habits start to show when you're in a high-stakes environment. Both these teams certainly not looking like they're on par with this SKTs and KTs of this league.
Now, what do you think about OQ getting his Zeal before finishing the Infinity Edge?
I don't mind it. It must have been a gold timing thing, maybe the 1100 gold versus 1350. It's probably him feeling sheepish when he should have just safely farmed up 200 gold instead of suiciding to the Malphite under turret. But look, it's a bit more immediate power. They want to ensure they can keep fighting. He doesn't know when he'll find the next item timing, so it's fine, but no, it's certainly a delay in power.
It's like, what do you do to the Malphite that's down 30 CS? Oh, I'll give him a kill. I'll give him a solo kill. Good job.
To their credit, the CS leads have stayed the same, but the gold lead's only 1200, and if Smeb has shown one thing in these last 2 games is that he's hitting priority targets with regularity with his ultimate.
Yeah. Now, we should specify that no matter who loses today, both of these teams are still coming back for the gauntlet to qualify for Worlds. So the season ends for one of these teams after this game, but the hopes for Worlds do continue. We'll just see who's going to be looking better going into that one. Teleport coming in. They're going to try to make a plan to Duke here. Gets slowed down. There's a hawk shot to reveal him. And Prey slowing with that auto attack. Q doesn't quite land. Looks like they're going to keep chasing, but the turret is there. Oh, they got him right before the arrow, and there's the unstoppable force. Duke's going to get taken out. Smeb looking much tankier now. Oh, and the arrow dodged by Hojin.
Najin postured towards Baron, then obviously faking it, tried for the re-engage and didn't get it. Okay, so there's 25 seconds for KOO to do whatever they want. Good thing for Najin, no big objectives to really look for right now.
I guess so. Prey's starting to get a couple kills going on that Ashe, though.
He's got the item advantage after OQ basically decided to delay his own item build with his own stupidity.
I guess. I don't know. It's some bizarre choices on both sides here. I mean, it looked like Najin had all the advantages, and they're just deciding to give them away at this point.
Najin's gone full Wall Street these last 2 games. The greed is good has certainly been their moniker, and in multiple ways they've been made to punish by KOO.
Yes, so. They need a government to bail them out at this point.
Government bailout. The world's bailout, the watch bailout.
Rito
it looked like it was coming, but
well, they're not out of contention for Worlds yet. You know, like we just said, they're going to go to the gauntlet later after the season is done, but I don't know. I think when you said that CJ's watching these games and feeling pretty good about the match on Wednesday is fairly accurate at this point.
Definitely think they have to be.
Yeah.
Kuro's really been delayed in terms of damage. He's gone purely for the defensive stats. Might be working towards, I guess, the Mercurial Scimitar. Maybe just building magic resist. No, I mean, QSS done, but probably still going to be the Infinity Edge. There's no huge upside to investing in the Scimitar just yet.
Yeah, and we see Prey a full 1,000 gold over OQ at this point.
Means so much in the mirror match, though.
Yeah. You know, this is after Prey was down by like 30 CS and had no kills.
Yep.
And how do you really come back as an Ashe, right? Like, where's the real playmaking potential unless you land a pretty magnificent arrow?
I mean, it's all about the strength of your tank line. Ash's power is completely a function of how strong the peel is for her. If the team has peel, she can do a lot of damage. She has a lot of control, but she has a Shen and a Leona in her pocket. But look, in terms of straight-up damage, it's probably not a lot to choose between Prey and OQ. You just have to think that the Shen in the pocket rather than the Malphite might be the trump card for Najin in the fight.
Right. Pure's Leona was able to move around the map and make plays early on, but now just really not finding the opportunities as the turrets have started falling in favor of the KOO Tigers.
Who still hasn't been able to get a lot of ward control around Dragon. They will be in a position to fight for it in 20 seconds.
Well, that's the big question here is can Najin keep the Dragons rolling? If they can get this third Dragon, that's probably the most important thing they can do.
I mean, their mistakes has offered a lot of the control in that area back to KOO. It's fairly neutral in terms of vision right now, but you can see Najin's not posturing comfortably. They've had OQ farming happily in the top lane for the last couple of minutes, even though they had the exact timer for Dragon.
Yep, that is true. OQ is moving down now. Dragon is up, though. Looks like KOO's not going to be able to go for it immediately. Now, if they get like a perfect Leona ultimate into Ashe ultimate, if they can chain the CC like that, maybe they can blow somebody up. But when you've got Gragas and Malphite coming in on you and you've got that peel from Braum, it's going to be really hard for Najin to get onto anybody here.
And the big thing is that both OQ and Goon do a lot of damage when they're kiting backwards, but they can't help with the dives. So the only person that's a viable ultimate target is Prey, because there's already the QSS on Kuro. There's just not a lot of follow-up damage. So maybe they can get Elise and Shen on top of the enemy Ashe and tie her up.
That's the idea.
But they have to worry about the counter-engage and the disengage of the likes of Malphite and Gragas.
So they'd like to. Well, KOO Tigers activating this Dragon now, and where's the vision? Najin coming in now. Can they take it away? This Dragon is crucial for their hopes here in this season. Dragon getting very low. Smeb comes from the side. Whoa, what a series of ults from the KOO Tigers. Unstoppable force into the Ashe arrow, and the KOO Tigers completely destroy Najin the Empire. Kills coming in on both sides, but it is all KOO. They kept Prey alive. Duke very, very low. Can they take him out under the turret? Yes, they can. And once again, Najin not respecting the Malphite ultimate, and it will cost them a Baron. They're gonna, I mean, KOO can just go back and take the Dragon later, I guess. I'm surprised they're not prioritizing the Dragon, but Baron is good too.
Smeb's Flash ultimate was the huge trump card. They have to at all times have vision over this Malphite because he facilitates the melee damage carry Kuro getting instantly into the backline onto the Ashe, who went down very early in the fight. It's gonna be an uncontested Baron, and KOO Tigers, man, we question the Malphite pick, but with regularity, they're making it work.
Well, yeah, I mean, Najin just isn't respecting it. Now, luckily for Najin, the Dragon is still available, and they could probably get it, but look at this, chaining a CC right in the last breath, of course.
And Goong dies instantly. He's a control mage, but Malphite had a straight line straight into Ashe and Goong, and they both died early, and Prey free hits.
Yeah, Dragon attempt by Najin right now. They get it, and that is huge. That may actually have been a little bit of an error. Do you think that it was worth it for KOO to get the Baron and give up the third Dragon to Najin? Because by giving Najin the third Dragon, it really keeps him in the game, doesn't it?
I mean, it does, but we're still talking about Najin being able to find the 4th and 5th, and there's no assumption that can happen, because with the Baron buff, they should be able to push up lanes finally, the KOO Tigers. Remember, pushing is not their strong suit. The only ranged champion they have is Ashe. If they can use this Baron buff to take out these outer turrets, to start pushing up vision, force that situation where Najin's like, okay, we have the exact timer, but don't know where that Malphite or Gragas is.
Well, here's the thing, is that it doesn't look like KOO Tigers are really finding any opportunities to push these lanes right now. In fact, at the moment, they're going back towards their own base.
Well, the mistake here is in Prey's position, and specifically in the lack of grouping from KOO. So they picked up the Baron. That wasn't against the run of play. That was after they got a big pick. They should be the ones dictating the next few minutes during the Baron buff, but as you mentioned, they've actually wasted, what, at least 25% of it just milling around the map.
You've got to think, too, if they would have taken the Dragon, maybe they could have just ran right over to mid lane and taken that as well, too. So this priority on Baron, it's got to pay off. It's got to pay off for the KOO Tigers, and they're trying to make it work here in the mid lane. Can Goon push back this turret fast enough? Going in. There's a wind wall. Maybe a bit of engage. Arrow goes through, barely misses Kuro.
Not the same OQ and Ash from game 1.
I guess not, no. But they keep that turret alive. It still hasn't taken too much damage yet. Yeah, still about 2/3 health remaining. And if all KOO Tigers get out of this Baron is just a mid lane turret, I don't know if that was worth giving up the 3rd dragon for.
Smeb used his ultimate to cancel Dukes.
Oh, there we go. They're trying to engage. Going in. Arrow misses. Big ultimate comes in from Goong, but he gets blown up immediately. A double kill for Prey, and they're not done yet. This team is too strong. Kuro's starting to really go off. Well, before he got killed by Watch in the turret. And it looks like Najin is going to trade fairly even here as Duke trying to get someone to die for the turret. It is the ace, so a double kill for KOO, and now they're going to get something done with this Baron.
Now the Baron buff looks like a master stroke, because they'll finally be able to push in and take some objectives, but once again, Goong is caught, dies early in the fight, and Najin's hopes, they're looking like they're going to need a hope and a prayer, because KOO are all over them.
Yeah, I mean, that fight was really it, man. I mean, Najin tries to engage. Solar Flare slows, does not stun. Arrow doesn't hit anyone from KOO, but I mean, Emperor's Divide was okay, but look at all the damage coming in from Prey and Kuro here.
Without a Zhonya's, Goong is just dying very early in this fight. And remember, all of this happened, and for once it wasn't Malphite related, because Smeb showed up after 4 members were already dead for Najin.
Well, Najin just really kind of overplayed that engage. I mean, it was desperate. They needed to do something, I guess, but do you feel like they should just sat under turret, just kept clearing waves, waiting out the Baron?
With the information they had, the fact that Duke was at that fight and there was no way for Smeb to get there, didn't have his ultimate up, I don't mind the engage, but man, now there's just no way back in, because who's the big carry of Najin? Of course it's OQ on this Ashe, but look at the item disparity. There's a Last Whisper QSS advantage compared to just a pickaxe from OQ, and he can be the best mechanical AD carry in the world. You cannot overcome such a stark item disadvantage when you need to actually be able to kill a tanky frontline of Braum, Malphite, and Gragas. Unfortunately, OQ on this Ashe is tickling this frontline from KOO.
Yeah, still no Zhonya's too from Goong. He's got the pieces, but just can't complete it right now.
Why did he build a death cap? I mean, I don't understand all the damage.
Oh, Goong going in, trying to make a play with that Emperor's Divide. Gets locked up immediately, though, with the Enchanting Crystal Arrow, and now Najin KOO all over Najin, rather. Double kill for Kiro.
Goodbye,
and
Najin.
Despite the split push from Duke, that is a 1-team fight for KOO Tigers. I mean, Najin's just throwing themselves into the KOO Tigers now. They can't win a team fight like that. They can't win the game like that.
They've given up, though. That's the only way I can look into this. I don't agree with the death cap just because you're against a burst AD champion in the mid lane. You go full damage. Smeb might actually die in the turret there, but...
Well, whatever. They're going to get the inhibitor for it, so I'd say it's worth it here.
But they just keep mercilessly throwing themselves in. Remember, Najin has engaged, what, the last 3 team fights and lost all of them.
Yeah, that's right. And if you think about the team fight back in mid, too, they engaged it after OQ's arrow was down. And so they didn't have all the propers. See, this time, Goong tries to make a play without the Zhonyas. Here's why you need the Zhonyas. He comes in, tries to do something, immediately hit with all the CC. There was no way to avoid it.
And dies during the Shen ult channel. Of course, OQ was now grouped up, doesn't have flash, dies instantly during the Malphite CC duration.
Yeah. OQ didn't even get to use his Emperor's Divide there. Or Goong, rather, didn't even get to use his Emperor's Divide in that fight.
And now the leads in terms of items are just disgusting. Look at Kuro, just goes back and picks up a Guardian Angel. He's got enough damage with the Infinity Edge and Static Shift, doesn't even need to worry about finishing the Trinity Force. Okay, Duke's tanky, but no one else has any armor. Goong might finally complete the Zhonya's Hourglass, but it's 10 minutes too late.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 10,000 gold lead already at 31 minutes. Baron and Dragon coming up very soon. Najin's only hope is that Dragon buff. And with the way the teams are right now, I mean, they've just lost 2 team fights very one-sidedly in a row here, so.
And look at the wards, though. There's so many flank wards for Malphite, who has flash and teleport available to just kill OQ. Maybe OQ can go for a picture-perfect Captain Jack-esque flash and get away from it, but if this series has been any indication, I don't think so.
I mean, despite the strength of Najin lately in this tournament, despite the weakness of the KOO Tigers lately, in this best of 3,
teleport's coming.
It's looking all KOO Tigers. That's right, Smeb coming from behind here. KOO Tigers, will they be in trouble? I think they are. Braum ult goes down. They drop the ultimate. OQ trying to back away, but Smeb is all over him already. There's Q. Big ult. Knocks up 3 people. Last breath coming in, and it is going to be, I think, the last breath for Najin the Empire. Another double kill for Prey, and Duke the last man standing. It will be a perfect ace. A double kill for Kuro. And you got to think, at this point, even if the KOO Tigers can't end the game right now, it is over. And I think they can end the game right now. Watch coming in. 20 seconds till OQ comes back, but they've already got people at the Nexus turrets. And so the KOO Tigers bringing it back in the blind pick with this Malphite to take down a resurgent Najee Empire. 2-1 in the wildcard match. They get into the playoffs. They will face CJ on Wednesday. It's over, guys. GG.
A complete dismantling by the KOO Tigers. We were ready to write them off previous today's series, specifically after a game 1 where Najin looked their ultimate and look how much emotion there is in the booth, because KOO Tigers, their season's still alive.
No kidding. And I mean, I'm just shocked. Najin letting the Malphite get in there 2 games in a row. You know, OQ going back to his old OQ ways of getting himself killed, and I don't know, what can you say, man? I mean, the team fights were not good from Najin. The decision making beyond the very, very early game was not good for Najin, and the KOO Tigers capitalized on it. I mean, despite how weak they've looked at times this season, they're still a force to be reckoned with. You cannot underestimate the KOO Tigers. Najin did that. They're out of Champion Summer.
And it's all encapsulated in the solo kill under the turret.